influence around a lot of the world now than we do.
We've
Latin
given it up.
America, Europe, Africa.
Deservedly so, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
like, what have we done
Blow
like,
most of it up.
Most recently, we've told a lot of these places to fuck off. Like,
Yeah.
that was Trump's whole presidency. His foreign policy was literally to go look at our allies and go, "Fuck you, pay me." And then Biden, his strategy is to shit his pants. Like,
Yeah, he just goes and stinks up the room.
yeah, I don't think they. His strategy is to shit his
I forgot I want to turn the sound up.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's hard to imagine where we go from here, dude.
Straight from the bottom.
The fact that we're not trying to like shore up our hemisphere is the craziest shit to me in the world. The fact that we're concerned about Palestine and Ukraine and Taiwan and all, I mean, like all those will have effects on us. Taiwan could obliterate our economy.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, with the chips and stuff, yeah.
But the fact that we're letting China just worm its way into Latin America and we're like, whatever, it's fine. It's only next door.
Dad,
Yeah,
come
it's
on.
right there.
So interestingly, I think China,
keep doing
their
this.
military seems to be shifting away from the Taiwan stuff at the moment because of all the stuff going on in the Middle East.
Oh, I can see that.
I think the government has talked about pushing the Taiwan stuff back another 10 years.
Interesting.
I wouldn't blame them.
Because, well, when's that 100-year anniversary they want to have Taiwan by?
That
Isn't
would
that
be
a-
like the 40s or something.
Yeah,
Wasn't it?
something like that.
I think that's the main goal, is to have it by then, because that'll look good for the image.
Because
whatever.
Communist China was founded in 48, right? Hey,
Yeah, hey, what's up, Afternoon Tune? You missed our horrible Phantom Menace playthrough of
it
that.
was so bad we gave up.
Yeah, we actually streamed. We started streaming like 2 hours or almost 2 hours ago now, but we gave up on Phantom Menace and swapped over because we got so stuck.
Game's unplayable.
It's bad.
I think we pretty much broke the game.
Yeah. Well, we would actually have to restart that chapter, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing
Yeah.
There you go.
To be honest, it
we
wouldn't-
killed Anakin, and I
Yeah,
think
I
that's
think
a real
that's the
victory.
victory you could do.
Kendrick Lamar died? Oh,
Um,
I thought he was saying he died. I was like, what?
It wasn't.
Dad.
I don't even know what we're talking about, to be honest.
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, what's going on? What's the down low?
Kendrick dissed Drake. I don't know. Everybody's been dissing Drake though.
Drake?
Or Drake?
Drake's kind of creepy, man.
Nah, I don't like Drake.
Well, I actually don't know anything about Drake. What's going on?
I don't know what happened just recently, but he was hanging out with an underage Millie Bobby Brown for quite a few years, and it
That's
was
weird.
real creepy, I think.
That's
So
not
I
good.
don't know if that has anything to do with what's happening, but
Is he rolling with P. Diddy or something?
Nah, I don't know. I mean, I would have expected more from him.
it was pretty.
I don't
lame.
know. Everybody's dissed Drake now, so everybody just says the same things about Drake they say in their songs. Not that I'm against dissing Drake, but
Right.
there's a thing where it gets into the pile on kind of effect.
Yeah, that sort of bandwagon type thing. What the fuck is that thing on the other side of the fence? Is that a cat?
Yeah, I think that is a cat.
Yeah, cool.
I don't know. Afternoon Tune, what did you think of Kendrick's diss?
Yeah, I genuinely didn't even see this. So
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I don't know how much of a diss it was, so I can't comment.
But rap beefs are in for real now.
But there's some good bars in the song.
Yeah, I mean, well, Kendrick will always deliver some good bars. He's one of the.
Well, some new dirt. Okay.
well, the Afternoon Tune dish to us about it. What's the dirt?
I love me some dirt.
Oh wait, hold on. There's a window in there.
It is kind of nice to see disses coming back more. Chris Brown went hard after Quavo.
Did he?
Because Chris Brown's not even a rapper, but he still made Quavo look bad. Then Quavo had some concert where nobody showed up, and people were saying Chris Brown bought all the tickets, so the stand would be empty.
Oh, goddamn.
Damn, 500K.
Wow. That must have been bad.
Can't get
Yeah,
through.
you don't.
Yeah, that's bad.
Look at that. 1978.
I don't. They weren't making state quarters in
go.
the 70s.
No.
No.
Well, all right.
My grandma
Accuracy.
collected those. That was like a 2000s thing.
Interesting.
All right. Well, The Last of Us got a little bit of its history wrong, huh?
Mention how Drake was too scared to respond to Pusha T.
Smooth.
Huh.
I don't know that one either.
Yeah, me and Ulysses are really out of the loop here.
I don't know. Goddamn.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've never had any respect for Drake as a rapper. You talk about somebody who's gotten to that level in the rap industry without putting together any real bars in his
You got a
whole
little
rap
money there,
career.
sweetheart.
So
I just know he was being creepy with Millie Bobby Brown for a long time. And I just kind of was
Every
off
time you
put.
run
But
off,
I
I
don't
just
even
think
really
of
know
Gnomes.
That
any of his
combined with a
music.
sexual assault
Believe it or not, they
allegation.
actually care
That's
about your
Yeah,
sexual
those two
really,
things together.
really
All
bad.
safe.
Dad.
Not a good look.
Hanging out. Right on the
Celebrity
other side of those trees.
And
Celebrities, man.
She's doing
Shit that they
anything.
do.
We'll
Yeah.
just check on her and then we'll
Yeah,
head
he was
back.
texting her.
I promise.
Well, like she was like 13, and he was,
Let's
you
just
know,
make
what,
it quick.
40 years old, like spending all this like time just hanging out with her, like
That's creepy as fuck.
yeah,
Yeah.
like the only 40-year-old that any like a kid should be hanging out with like that is like your parents or like an uncle
Yeah,
or
like
aunt or like
family members.
yeah, that's just fuck. You don't just have friends that are that much older than you. That's
I
fucking
asked.
weird.
That is fucking weird.
Should
That's
probably
like
cut through
when
the
Diddy
playground.
was asking Bieber if he was going to come over for a sleepover.
Yeah, that's weird, man.
Look what I found.
Oh, wow.
Apparently bullshit. Apparently she found some bullshit.
You can keep it. If you
I'm
promise
a
not to pull
fact
anything
check
like
that,
this
but I'm
again.
pretty sure it's fake photos.
I mean, you'd
Got
think that's
yourself a
something
deal.
they would have fact checked when they were
Why don't I
making the
believe
game,
you?
right? It would be
You'd
easy
hope
to.
so, right?
It's a little detail to get wrong.
Yeah, minted
keep
from
looking.
1999 through
Dad.
2008.
Relax.
Dudes who
Oh.
were doing the Free Stiller Blade
Before
campaign says Sony was
Wait, what?
hypocritical for showing us Abby having
Nothing.
sex, but censoring
Just
Eve's
noticed you two have been hanging out.
clitoris. Is that what this is? Oh, cleavage.
Cleavage.
Okay.
Cut off on the bottom of the screen.
It's fine.
Free the clitoris.
Oh,
Hashtag free Eve's clitoris.
I thought I was going to be referencing the camel toe. I was like, damn, how bad is this camel toe? But yeah.
Dad, I see things. Like the
I
way
mean,
you're
like,
trying really, really hard not to look.
I don't. I mean, I just don't. I mean, I just don't care.
It's very cute.
Like, I just don't care. Like, why is this such a big deal to these people?
And also, I mean,
Like, and yes, there's like a pretty graphic sex scene at one point.
but like,
And people were mad too because Abby's super muscular, and so they're like
but the thing is
angry
that these are
this
completely
muscular
different kinds of games, with different tones that are going for different ratings, aren't they?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly. Like
so
Last
that's
of Us
why
is
one's censored and not the other. It's not because, I don't know, they're trying to turn you gay by making you attracted to muscular women or whatever,
right.
which is doubtlessly where this conspiracy theory is going.
Yeah, that's definitely where it's going. But no, I mean, like The Last of Us, I feel like, I don't know. I mean, would you say like tastefully dramatic and emotionally charged sex scene compared to let's just show camel toe during all gameplay?
They described it as two men having sex.
Yes, they did. Yes, they, just because
Christ.
she's a muscular
Fresh
woman.
tracks.
Yeah.
wait.
I
Like
don't
if Sarah,
know, man.
if there was a sex scene in Terminator 2 with Sarah Connor, would these people be freaking out about that?
Is it
I
working?
don't know, man.
Well, I mean,
Some of these
It's like an
dudes.
emoji of a slug.
Yeah.
you do what you need to do to get it done.
Wow. Okay.
You actually listen.
You have your moments of wisdom.
I don't know, man. These
Let's see
incels.
if we can find
I just don't get why these dudes equate a muscular woman with a man. They clearly are not the same thing.
Yeah, one's got a pussy. I don't know, man.
I also just.
I
don't
mean,
know,
you can
man.
not be
I mean,
that attracted to
anything
super
else?
muscular women, but it doesn't make them not women.
Yeah, you're right.
Keep
Zack
looking.
Snyder would have put a sex scene in Terminator.
He would have had the Terminator get raped in prison. That's what would have happened.
We'd have one Terminator check another Terminator's ID before he raped him.
I just imagine fucking like they think women should like look like
Should look
anime
like
characters.
yeah, they do. They do.
absolutely.
They think women should, every female character and everything should have like flawless skin and look like an anime waifu.
Which is like
But it's
there are
also,
other
I don't
things.
know, man. I mean, like, Do you need to go to like AAA video games for your like sexual needs? I just
Last I checked, the internet was full of pornography.
You can,
Yeah.
dude, you can go buy games called Hentai Story on the Nintendo shop on your Switch. They're everywhere. You don't even have to go on like onto some weird website from the
Dad,
PC.
I
You can
found
load up your
something.
Nintendo console and find like weird porny anime games on there. They're all over the place. They're all over the place. And let alone The Last of Us.
Even with Eve, the actress had her
Let's go.
proportions altered to
That doesn't
achieve
sound
more
good.
perfect look. Yeah, that's definitely going to be the case. I mean, nobody actually looks. More people look like Abby than look like fucking Eve.
Yeah, Abby looks like a pretty realistic human being, to be honest.
Well, I mean,
Like,
this is their kid version. I mean, like,
Yeah,
there's no
this- yeah.
muscular version. I mean, well, for starters, it's a real actress who looks like that.
right.
But also, there are
That's another thing.
just muscular, athletic women, you know?
Yeah. And also in universe, Abby is not just athletic; she's a literal bodybuilder.
Yeah.
There's a reason she's big. I mean, it's like you can be not attracted to it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you can be attracted or not attracted to any kind of man or woman, right? But, like,
But saying that she's a man from Love Lies Bleeding,
I don't know what that reference is.
I actually have not seen that before. Yeah, I don't know.
What the fuck is there a zebra? What the fuck?
It's okay.
They have animals here.
Zebra?
Like,
they're at the zoo.
Yeah, this organization they're with is like actually got a bunch of animals as part of their.
I didn't know there were a lot of zebras just around in America.
They're at
I
the
go
zoo.
get it's from a zoo. Katie O'Brien.
Come on.
Okay.
Okay.
So Rhea Ripley. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just not.
Here, Owen.
Like, there are actually a fair number of, like, female bodybuilders out there.
Hey, get over here and help me.
Again, it's just like you could be not into them,
Right.
Hold her.
but it doesn't make them men.
Yeah.
Like,
Come on.
And it's also, and if one is in a form of media, that doesn't make it a conspiracy that, like, you
to
know,
make you gay.
Yeah.
Right.
You got her tight?
Also, here's the thing. If you think that a muscular woman in a piece of media is like a conspiracy to make you gay, the logical lean beef patty is another. Well, with
Is
the name
that her
like
name?
with the name like that, I expect her to be pretty muscular.
Holy fuck.
But here's my question: if you see a muscular woman and I'm like, and your instant thought is like, oh, that looks like a dude, that's hot, that must be trying to make me gay. That means you're probably already gay, right? And you're just like thinking about dudes when you see muscular women, right? Like I don't, right? Like I don't.
Yeah,
Is there any other way to really process that? Like,
No.
We did good back there. Doc, that girl showed up. What girl?
I just,
The one
I don't
Owen
know.
keeps talking about. They found her in the tunnels. She has an old bite mark on her arm.
There's also a character
No
in Baldur's
signs of
Gate 3
infection.
who's is like a muscular chick that they, of course, have many of the same
That
problems
can't
with
be.
that they did with Abby.
They're already
And
running
Baldur's
tests
Gate
on her, but
3 is also filled with like
You gotta get
very
down there.
feminine, like
Yeah, it's got like the full fucking range.
yeah, and very revealing costumes.
Very, yeah.
on those characters too. So this is the hospital, the Fireflies
Yeah.
group from the end of the first game.
I don't know, man. Dudes have lost their
It's
minds on the
intertwined with
internet.
the brain. There's no
It's-
other option.
Well,
There has to be some other way.
There's no way to remove the specimen without.
I wonder if the
destroying
actress playing her in live action will put on muscle.
I'd expect so. I
She's a
mean,
child, not some petri dish.
You think I don't? I'm aware of the situation.
And you're okay with killing her.
No, I'm okay with developing a vaccine that'll help save millions of lives. How many fireflies have died for less?
That was their choice. Are you asking me? Or are you telling me this is how it's gonna be?
I am begging you to buy in.
Scene really
I
is a
love this
spacesuit.
Yeah.
Look, everything that we've been
Facts.
fighting for, all the sacrifices, all of the horrific, all of that is justified with this one act.
Yeah, this is how the COVID vaccine was made.
If this was your daughter.
Yeah, it's made from cordyceps fungus.
Abby,
I'll buy you some dinner.
Oh yeah, the actress that played Abby she was like on the end of some of the worst like death threat harassment shit I've ever seen on the
It's just like,
internet.
why?
Just
Just 'cause she's
find her
muscular
attractive.
and because her character killed Joel. So people, so
What is with these fucking idiots who can't tell the difference between an actor who portrays a character and said character in fictional media?
I
Because
don't
that
know.
was also the case for fucking Joffrey. Remember, like the kid who
Yeah.
plays Joffrey on Game of Thrones. People treated
and
him
that was
like
a character you were
dirt,
supposed to hate,
Yeah.
but not the fucking actor.
but the actor didn't do anything.
It's going to be brought back up again when the Last of Us, when the second season of the show. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will.
It's
I'm
just
sure
like,
it will.
I don't know, man. I mean, how much energy are you investing into entertainment where you're threatening people with death because you didn't like something?
Yeah, like,
Right.
Like get over
I might
yourself.
passionately to talk about why I
Yeah.
don't like a thing, but at the end of the day,
You can walk
I just walk away from it and
fucking adult.
It's
go
because
live my life.
it's because a lot of these dudes buy into this conspiracy that media is designed to like reshape reality and the human psychology, and so they feel like they're on some grand moral crusade to save the
Okay,
human
well
race.
that's
Yeah.
not a conspiracy, but
Well, I mean, these dudes are just crazy. Is my point.
yeah, I mean, well, if you think it's like design, like it's a sexual thing, that's not true. But I mean, like media has been used quite a bit.
Yeah, I know media has a propaganda purpose, but that's not what I'm not equating it to that. I'm equating it to the idea that it's brainwashing everybody to be gay.
Yeah, no, that's not true.
Like, if you want to,
Like, if you want to criticize like big budget Hollywood blockbusters for making the U.S. military not
Yeah.
evil, then sure, yeah, that's totally
if
true.
you want to talk
But-
politics, that's one thing. But if you want to like send death threats to an actress because you think that it's all part of a globalist effort to make you attracted to muscular women,
Well, even if it was part of a globalist effort, the actors are not in on it.
well, that's where they're going to disagree with you.
Right. Well, I mean, no matter what, it's not to like make you gay. But any of this stuff, like the individual people working on these projects, are not part of any type of agenda.
Well, that's part of the problem with these conspiracy theories is they have to start like assigning roles to all these people because
Right.
the broader and more complex, the more actors you can claim are part of this conspiracy theory, then the more threatening it'll seem, and the more you can go on to fucking forums on the internet and go,
Whatever.
guys, I figured it out.
Whatever you want to believe about there being like these vast overarching conspiracies, everybody like think about the way the government is, right? Like everything's compartmentalized. Like you don't hire people.
People think the movement against stellar players, people are racist against Asians and hate beautiful women.
I mean, who hates beautiful women? Like, who thinks that? I mean, maybe there's some ugly people out there that are jealous, but like,
What are you doing?
is hate? I feel like is even a strong word for that group of people.
Abby, there he is.
Yep.
He's right.
Yeah, Ellie's got the spaceman alternate costume, and Abby has a Mad Max
We're no better than
alternate
you are.
costume.
People talking shit about Stellar Blade for
I
having
didn't do
Asians.
anything wrong. Yeah, look at my
No.
face.
No, they're not.
Okay.
Like I told you to.
That's just the people that are mad. The people that are mad about the censorship of the camel toe are saying that people are talking shit about it because it has Asians in it.
I was gonna say, yeah, incels. If anything, incels are a little too into Asian women. Like,
Well,
Oh, they
yeah.
fetishize the
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
out of Asian women. Well, that's why Abby killed Joel. 'Cause
Yeah.
the surgeon.
Like I said, I'm on Team Abby.
Yeah, I mean, I think Abby's. I mean, if Ellie's revenges can be in any way thought of as reasonable towards Abby for killing Joel, Abby's revenge towards Joel for killing her dad is equally reasonable, right? Like,
I don't think anyone was against the game. They were just against the Cougars.
Search it everywhere.
I mean, I will say I definitely saw some stuff on the internet where some people were like, games that objectify a character at all shouldn't even be allowed to be made.
Oh, well, that's stupid.
I saw a little bit of that,
Sure.
but it was relatively minor,
Right.
right? It was not very.
And I
many
guarantee you the people who made the game don't think that.
No, yeah, exactly.
Nor did the censorship boards who went, you can't have camel toe in your game unless you want X-rated.
My neck.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, I see
Yeah, who was it this time?
a little bit of that ridiculousness, but it's not. The complaining about it is blown so far out of proportion that it's far worse than that initial complaint.
I mean, it's
ever
the American
was.
version of the fucking Ishmael swimsuit incident in South Korea.
it's
Worth it,
Where
though?
some
It
literally...
is a South Korean game, so I guess they're importing the
yep.
swimsuit
God
incident.
damn it. Of all the things we could import. But, like, that was a game where the whole controversy literally was generated. Imagine getting a good night's rest after you just banished some dude's bat his brains in.
Yeah, hey, why not?
I mean, what if he deserved it, right?
I mean, Joel, I like really don't. I do kind of think Joel deserved some comeuppance.
I think Abby just slept the sleep of the just.
Our playthrough of Last of Us 2 will get downvoted for us taking Abby's side and anything.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, I really don't understand why people are so adamant about how fucking moral of a character Joel was.
He wasn't.
He wasn't.
The whole point of that game is that he was kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah, like he was human, and you could understand.
He was sympathetic.
Yeah, he was sympathetic, but and he was a well-rounded.
I'd argue that the point
character.
of Last of Us 1 was like, how far could a good person be pushed before they do bad things?
Sure.
You know.
But and then ultimately that still results in him doing some fucked up bad things.
Right, and when you do something that fucked up, you're gonna have to answer for it. Chances are.
Yeah.
With us to the Saravina?
I don't understand why people were so angry that they dare kill off this character.
And they probably were already just hating on Abby for whatever reason.
I mean, they're hating on her. There's some of it is them hating on Abby.
If you can play a Kendrick song on the guitar in this game.
People have taken that guitar minigame pretty damn far on like not even playing what the game's trying to get you to play, but just doing just making up songs and playing them on the thing.
I'd listen to an acoustic King Kunta.
But seriously, you have some of the people, yes, that were hating on just being misogynists, right? But there's also that group of people, and this comes up, with a lot of media, where they literally cannot divorce themselves from the perspective of a protagonist.
Right, and so if you play as Joel to the point where you think of yourself as Joel, and then the opening scene of the next game is him doing this fucking brain.
You feel like it's your brain's getting people think that it's like an attack on them personally.
Right?
Yeah.
I get that. It's investing yourself in the character. It's just that some people take it too far.
Some people take it way too far. And those people, at least, I don't think they're coming at it from a malicious angle. They're just not very critically thinking and get trapped in this singular perspective.
Excuse me.
Wait your turn like the rest of us. We're going to the front. Come on.
So embarrassing. Why do you have 3? Put one back.
Now don't freak out. Mel's coming with us.
Manny?
It's also funny because we have as Allie, we've already murdered all of these people that Abby's going and interacting with right now.
I'm tired of all the bullshit.
Does she know I'm on this drive?
Yeah, I mean, the point I was making earlier, though, the Ishmael swimsuit incident was literally created by
It's my accent.
one person, one man, having a different idea of what is sexy than a bunch of other men.
Right.
That's literally what generated that. Some of these dudes think they're actually Japanese, all these goddamn weebs and shit.
Oh, yeah, dude. Weeby incel. It's one thing to be an incel, it's one thing to be a weeb, but a weeby incel is the worst.
I mean, have you seen some of these, the battle stations?
She wanted Joel dead as much as the rest of us.
The battle stations?
Well, their desk with her.
Oh, I guess I don't know if I have, but
You seen the anime titty, mouse pads?
yes, I have.
It sounds awful.
Yeah, I have. I've seen an Attack on Titan one that's Levi's ass.
You actually send me that. I just send me that.
God.
But
Not titties, I guess, on that one, but
These are the dudes who think that if you own a katana, that's as good as having a citizenship in Japan.
ugh, yeah.
Just show it to the fucking border guard and they'll let you in.
whereas not that a lot of people in Japan
Get your
don't
things ready.
watch it.
I'm gonna grab Mel.
Right, I mean,
It is-
it is
intended
culturally
for-
mainstream.
Yes.
It's largely intended for a Japanese audience.
You
However,
can get me that for Christmas. The Levi's ass mouse pad.
That would be amazing.
be good when we get that computer.
You know what? I would use it for the joke. I would use it for the joke. That's actually funny.
Scientist, huh?
Shit, was Oppenheimer in here?
I have become death, the destroyer of pussy.
That was such a dumb scene in an otherwise great movie.
Yeah, that was like the one just moment where it was just like, what the fuck
really,
is this?
That's where you decide to drop that line?
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
Knock, knock. Ready to roll?
Yeah, just about.
What were you gonna say though? I'm sorry.
Hi. Hey.
Oh,
Actually cleared
like
for
when I
every
was
day.
in Japan,
Barely.
I saw very few like
You could probably just stay
public
if you ask.
weeks.
I'd rather not.
Oh yeah, dude, the whole
It's not
idea of
like
like
they-
the otaku thing,
Yeah,
like that's
That's a hard
Why would it be
subculture
uptown?
in Japan.
Well, not
You
only
don't
is it a
you don't
hard
get on
subculture.
you don't get on the subway and see
Well-
like a bunch of people dressed as
No.
anime maids.
but not only is it a subculture and not like a mainstream
Yeah.
culture thing, it's also in Japan. It's fucking embarrassing to be one of those people. You're looked
Right.
down upon.
To be
if you're
fair,
that.
everything's embarrassing in Japan.
Well, that's kind of true, but like I don't know, like the idea of being like the suits, obsessed with all this. Oh my
What
god!
the
His head was just all the way around.
Yeah, that
me.
was bad. Is he an owl? Like, what the
What did you
hell?
want called up for?
Hoot.
It's just the usual rotation, don't worry.
Hey,
But,
when you get back, will you check on my dad? He
But no,
says-
seriously, I just like that's not supposed to be something.
The only-
People are proud of that.
The only place in
In Japan,
Japan
like-
I saw anybody really
Maybe we can get him some
in
more
like
painkillers.
otaku,
Heard they
like
moved
in
you and Owen to
otaku
Section
clothing
96.
or like obvious stuff like
Yeah,
that was in
it's
Akihabara,
nice.
which is the
It's lots of
anime
young
district.
families.
It's like where
Right.
you
You
go
guys
in
excited
Tokyo to
about the
buy
baby?
manga,
Seeing all the kids running
and
around,
buy. It's
Yeah,
just all
I'm
anime. shit.
getting ready.
Which makes
That
sense.
made
You'd see it
sense.
there.
Yeah.
All those
But
crying
nowhere
babies.
else in Tokyo
Let's
did
drop
I
all
see
the
very
rest.
many people
He
like,
hasn't even seen it yet.
doing
He's
the
out on
full
rotation with
shit.
Danny. Danny? Yikes. Sucks for him. Yeah.
Yes, they got Bunglickle, like.
Oh shit! This is like that Chaz in the stadium, isn't it?
Oh shit!
I think this
things
is
are
much more
going
successful.
It's a lot better than one dude doing a Jedi dance on top of all the plants that they tried to. I couldn't believe they put like an inch of dirt on a tarp and thought you could grow fucking vegetables.
This is how you know if the post-apocalypse ever happened. A lot of people were just fucked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your
Yeah, a lot
average,
of
your
people.
average,
Shit, I'm fucked.
your average city dweller.
Saw them tell a Japanese woman she wasn't Japanese because she was from Canada.
Okay,
Yeah,
then.
well, you saw like
Like
You saw
Weeds or
people from Japan say that.
yeah, because I mean,
Well, I will
There
say
is-
that
there
in
is-
China, especially, they
Yeah.
do look at Asian Americans and say they're Asian American or like Chinese Americans.
Weebs?
Weebs.
Yeah, okay.
Well, that's even more ridiculous. But I will say, yeah, that is a cultural thing.
That's a thing in
yeah.
Asia. I don't know about Japan specifically, but in China, like if you're
yeah,
like
they think
half-
the ABCs are something.
yeah.
Totally different.
But yeah, they do think like if you're Asian, if you're Chinese American, people in China will say you're not Chinese
Yeah.
because of your
But-
American half.
I
You're
don't
a
know. I
traitor.
mean,
You're
that's
people.
kind of
They do think that.
Yeah.
But I
At
mean,
least some.
Even that Shang-Chi actor, he got all kinds of shit on.
Yeah, that's part of why Shang-Chi did so poorly in Japan or in China because it was looked at as like it's not really
Yeah,
Chinese
okay,
because
since
it's
you
Chinese.
asked
It's
so nice.
actually just Americans pretending to be Chinese. That was a huge thing when that movie came out.
To be fair to the Chinese,
I mean, culturally, but like they
Yeah.
literally are
Well,
genetically Chinese.
yes, but to be fair to Chinese people on that,
Get the
Ellie
like-
murdered
like-
this dog, by the way, already. So
when you go to like, I mean, like people in Ireland fucking hate when Irish Americans show up. And
I mean,
they're like,
that's
I'm
true.
Irish, like
no, I
To my
mean,
knowledge, Chinese Americans don't really do that.
they just like it's they just will start shit from over there.
I mean, there is an extent to where, like, yeah, you might be ethnically something, but if you live in the U.S., like, you're not really that.
Well, I mean,
I'd
it's,
say it depends. Like, are you like, or is your family like recent immigrants, or have they been here for like 100 years?
Yeah,
but,
I mean,
but even then, they're like, I mean, when that argument comes up from people in
like, I didn't go to
mainland China,
Norway. I didn't go to Norway and be like, oh, I'm Norwegian. Like,
I mean, that's fair, but like, you are still genetically.
yeah,
That, and
but
like
that doesn't
people in
make
China
you-
are acting like the genetics just don't even count.
I mean,
like you're
because-
not Chinese. You're fake. Like they literally say stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little whack. But I do think it's a little obnoxious for Americans to go to, like, the place of their ancestors and be like, "Oh, I'm this," and it's
Yeah.
like, "No, you're
Yeah.
not." Like you're.
Well, it's also one thing when it's like when you're like a descendant of a culture that is also majority white, though, because people that are like truly like biracial will get shit from white people here, and then also they're the whatever ethnicity they're descended from
Right.
on the other side, and so it's like a
Yeah.
it's like a pincer attack of
Yeah,
racism.
but I think I mean
That's part of why a lot of
to me-
people who like are biracial. I mean, some of them will end up as like racists themselves because they get this sort of inferiority complex, one side or the other.
That's true. That I've had friends that I've watched descend into that and literally like develop that personality.
Black Americans wouldn't say they're Africans because they're too far removed from the culture.
Right. You know, and that totally makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean,
I get it.
But
I get what you're saying about the pincer movement, but that's more fucked up on America's side. Unless people are being,
but I mean,
there's
it's
an aggression to it, maybe. But
I think the difference is that when you're talking about culturally, yes, you're not really culturally that group, right? Because
Yeah.
you've been here for your family's been here for how many generations? But it's when they start going like your genetic ethnicity
Well,
doesn't count. That's what I'm saying is like weird, like
but it doesn't count. How
I'm driving.
like you're fake, you're pretending, you're not, you don't really count as this or whatever.
But I mean, they aren't really. I
Genetically, though, they are. Maybe not
I'd say-
culturally, but genetically, literally, yeah.
I'd really say it depends on how far removed they are from whatever culture their
I mean,
ancestors
sure. If it's like
came from,
6
right?
generations
Yeah.
and like you've never even heard of, like, you don't speak a single word of the language.
I
I mean,
Like,
if your parents are from China and you were raised like Chinese, but you were born in America, which is the case for a lot of Asians, not necessarily Chinese, but Chinese too. A lot of,
Someone can take their culture from them, or could take their culture with them, exactly.
and a lot of Asian communities are actually quite tight knit in America.
I mean, ideally, that's what America is at its best. Is it's people are actually like appreciating and allowing the culture to flourish instead of trying to get rid of it. So I don't know.
I mean,
there's nuance in there. I'm not saying
that I
there's
don't like. I don't think people should be treating people like shit.
Right.
For being like ethnically the same, but like.
Well, like, question,
culturally-
is Simulu a second generation immigrant?
I don't remember.
Because,
I thought he was.
or is he third or fourth generation?
You'd probably know more about that than I do.
I'm not
I
sure,
mean-
but I just know that
I'm-
he in particular was getting a lot of shit from people in China, and they were calling him fake.
I'm
Like,
second.
not really.
I'm second
Not great?
generation, right? Like,
sure,
my grandpa is from Norway. I still wouldn't say I'm literally
pharmacy?
0%
No,
Norwegian
I'm good.
in any other way than like genetic.
It's not a big
Sure.
deal.
Like I don't.
No,
I'm not.
It's fine. I'm just gonna wear
I
myself
wouldn't claim to
I've been
be.
picking up a few
I w-
extra assignments.
Other than people ask me like, "Oh,
Do I have one?
what's your like background? Your
What do you
ethnic-"
mean?
Right.
Right.
I would never. That's the only.
You wouldn't
context,
introduce yourself
that's
as
the only
Norwegian to
context
someone.
I would ever say I'm Norwegian.
But I'd say
Right.
one crucial born in China but raised in Canada.
So he's
He's born in China. I would say it also depends on like your household where you're from. Because a lot of things for like non-white people in America, especially immigrants from like Asian countries, African countries, whatever, right? Like recent immigrants, a lot of them they kind of live two lives, right? You have to live like in America,
Yeah, it's
like
a
in
slow
public.
priority.
You got to speak English. You
We're
got to
fishing up
interact
wild
mostly
salmon,
with
right?
each other.
Code switching
And then at
and that.
home, you go and then you're speaking in whatever language you speak with your family,
What did you mean about
language
being Owen?
of the country they came from, and you're more immersed in that culture
haven't seen
at
him in, like,
home
2 weeks.
or like in your immigrant community.
Keeps
Right?
picking up open
And
assignments.
His parent moved to Canada for education, and he came later.
Has he
So he
told
was
you?
like raised
Did he
in
say
China.
anything?
Yeah. So
No,
for
still
people in China to call
I've seen
him
it in the
fake
mess hall,
and
but-
not really Chinese,
We're
that
around
seems
each other.
Yeah.
very racist.
Because like it does depend on how much you're sort of
Jackson
immersed
should
in that culture,
You know,
like
Yeah.
coming up. And I'd say that if you have been to a significant degree, then you can claim that you are part of that culture, even if you're not necessarily from that
waiting
country.
for us. Yeah.
But also, if you are from the country and you have understood the culture,
Well, yeah, I mean,
and you
this
just moved at some point, then it's like,
yeah, well, with that dude, that's just pure bullshit.
yeah.
I don't know. My thing is like, I do feel like I see a lot of people, like, I mean, it's probably dismissive to say it is like LARPing, but like, I mean,
Well, like white
not,
people are.
you're not necessarily like connected to it in the same way.
Right.
Like, there's such a thing as being Chinese.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
Shang-Chi was great up until... I think the first 2/3 of that movie are legitimately great, and then it completely falls apart. It's like sucks in its last third. Which is unfortunate.
You're not leaving this place!
I assume you can kill the horses too.
Should probably do that, eh?
It doesn't surprise me that you get that.
Yeah.
China's
No, it doesn't surprise
China's
me.
extremely
so nationalist.
And I don't even think most Chinese think that way, but there's that hardcore nationalist.
Yeah, it's
bent
not like it's
in China,
everybody.
Yeah.
Where you get a lot of dudes, mostly dudes on the internet, who are like,
Hello, paper
Let's hike.
ship SOS.
Ship.
Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. Welcome in. How are you doing today?
yeah, you walk right into the politics portion of the
Yeah,
show.
we're just getting deep into the weeds on that.
It's clear. Come on.
Let's make sure this
But
place is
I don't know.
secure.
I have always felt like, I mean, I guess I never thought of it specifically in a
There are Asian
Chinese.
people in all parts of the world. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
absolutely.
I mean, it's increasingly a lot of them in Latin America right now.
But I don't know. I never thought of it specifically in like the Chinese context. But I've always felt like people in other countries who are like annoyed by
Copy that.
Americans being like, "Oh, I'm this, I'm that."
Just watched Madame Web. Oh, that's
Oh God, yeah. I'm sorry that you had to sit through
Yeah,
that.
that's not good.
We got this.
Madam Web seems like it is going to be in running for like worst film this year.
Yeah.
Then again, I don't see that many movies, so there's probably some even worse garbage out there.
Lots of places
I
to
could have
hide in
been
here.
Madame Web and told you
Oh,
that was shit.
Now that's the prediction we need Madam Web to tell for the future.
Don't see this movie.
Yeah, I mean, and then of course, even within like non-white groups in America, there are totally communities that are Asian American that aren't like based on whatever culture they originally came from.
Right.
Somewhat removed from it.
I mean, there is a Chinese American culture.
Yeah.
Chinese people have been here for a long time.
Right.
You've
Okay.
seen worse movies than what's worse than Madam Web so far this year? Like what do you think's the worst movie you've seen this year?
Because there are Chinese people who have been here since like the 1800s, but then there's also waves of more recent immigrants who
Yeah.
only started coming here in like the 80s.
Right.
I don't know. If anybody gets it bad, it's African Americans who go to Africa.
Yeah.
If people just tell them they're white, though. The most, like, that's
That's
a
racist.
That's
devastating experience. Yeah. Well, but it's also like, I mean, there are very few African Americans in the U.S. who aren't mixed, so they tend to be significantly lighter.
Jenna Ortega movie Miller's Girl.
The movie about someone drinking beer.
That sounds like the name of a porn.
I like Miller's Crossing.
Miller's Crossing. Oh no.
That's a good
Night Swim. Oh, the movie about the haunted pool.
Yeah, I did see the
that
trailers.
was
for that.
terrible. Yeah.
That
You
looked
watched
pretty
that?
bad.
Oh,
I did.
Rebel Moon Part 2, good point.
Rebel Moon
Good
Part 2.
point.
God, I can't believe I fucking watched that. Michael pestering me about that shit.
Well, you only saw
Guys,
Part 1.
look up there.
No, I watched Part 2 without the context of Part 1.
Oh, lovely.
I'll climb
Because
up there and check it out.
when Michael was here, he just really wanted to fucking watch
Torture
it.
you with that shit.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I told him I wouldn't do it unless I got really high on edibles, and even then it still did not help.
Do you love all that slow motion?
No. I don't know the lore. Yeah, that's the reason I
Yeah,
didn't
it would have
like
been
it.
some really deep storytelling if you just understood.
Oh, I'm not watching Part 1.
You got to watch Part 1, then you got to
Oh,
watch
hell
Part
no.
2 again to
Oh,
understand it
fuck
properly.
you.
this time.
Fuck you.
Zack Snyder films are intellectual art pieces, say.
Fuck you.
You just need to be qualified to understand.
Fuck you. I'm not doing shit. He wants to make 6 more.
Rebel Moon?
Yes.
Well, why not? There's only been like 700 followers.
On Netflix, surprised you.
Hey, good luck.
Here they come!
Come on!
There's anything Netflix knows not just doesn't know how to do it.
You have to have a certain level of testosterone to get Snyder films. Oh my god, what the fuck? I'm like watching the fucking porn. Yeah! Come on. Get the fuck out of here. Can you guys help me? There's fucking 3 NPCs in this room.
Zack Snyder films are violent and obnoxious and all that, but with the exception of 300, which is pretty homoerotic. I don't know if I've ever felt like there was really any kind of masculine energy.
I don't know, he's constantly putting dudes in muscle front and center, like Superman and all that.
I'd say that's masculine.
The movies are just so
Blam.
Well, they're bland and uninteresting, yeah. I'd say if anything,
Not
they're
even,
like
like-
obnoxiously masculine. To the point that it's like fucking.
It
feels
uses
like,
masculinity as a replacement for having physical better.
yeah, that's what I'd say.
I don't know, man. I mean, like, God, Justice League. I mean,
Yeah.
not.
Can we say
I guess
fuck
yeah.
this
There's a lot of
place?
muscular dudes in it.
Fuck this place.
Even then, like, it doesn't feel like it's like just overly like. I don't know how to explain it, but they're just they lack much of any component to those.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
They're these like base archetypes with like nothing going on.
Yeah, no character.
Yeah, there's
I mean,
no
Rebel
character
Moon is
whatsoever.
like all that.
Oh god, it was so fucking bad. So fucking bad. Okay. Alright, now where are we going here?
Oh, laundromat?
It's like an old
Oh, it's like
appliance.
Sears.
store.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not surprised
the
then.
secret is that this Sears was actually closed for 15 years before.
I was about to make the joke that I was about to make the joke that I'm not surprised Sears didn't make it to the post-apocalypse because they didn't survive the pre-apocalypse.
Yeah. Well, when did Sears really go away? Would you say? Because
few
the
years
apocalypse in
Oh,
that's the
I
prologue.
feel
At the
like
beginning of the first game is taking place in like 2003, and then there's like a
Sears
20-year
did last
jump.
longer.
it did
than that.
last longer.
Yeah, so Sears would have been around when the apocalypse happened in this world.
Yeah. it was
Okay.
good.
Ladies first.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there are still a few. Sears.
Go ahead,
I'll
Abs.
see- I'll find out how
said
many
ladies
are left.
first.
Well, I mean, I don't give a shit. Sears
closed
closed
in
in 2019.
2019.
Yeah, so it definitely would have been around for the apocalypse of this universe.
Okay.
And you're right, that dog
Oh,
really was
yep.
not helping.
As
for a
of
moment
March, there are
Reminds me
only
of you guys'
12
greenhouse.
Sears left in America.
Shouldn't.
Wow.
All these plants are alive.
I know the one they used to have downtown,
What?
or near
This is
downtown,
good.
was
You two
in a
need
big
to
empty
run
lot
along.
now.
Shut up, Manny.
Working already.
The city just uses it to pile snow up in the winter.
Yep, there are 12. There are 12
So
stores in
most
the
of
U.S. and one in Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, huh?
Apparently, Sears is still big in Mexico.
Interesting.
Wonder
I wonder
why.
why. Yeah.
I don't know. You see that sometimes. One of the weirdest things in
Yep.
Japan was
Hey,
there were
good drinking
one of the
game.
biggest convenience store chains over there is
Maybe later.
Lawson's.
Uh-huh.
Lost.
And apparently Lawson's was big in the U.S. in the 60s, expanded over to Japan, and then went out of business in the U.S. and is still like probably right behind 7-Eleven.
People said you should convert the big malls that go out of business into living properties. I mean, I feel like a lot of those would need to be completely rebuilt.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be
do
okay. I'd certainly support doing something with them though.
The only issue
But it
is
would take, I think, a lot more money to format them. You know.
the issue I have, I mean, that's a good idea. The problem is that the current property development people would just turn them into luxury apartments that nobody uses.
That's also
Yeah.
true, yeah. So much, at least around here, so much of the apartments that get built are just, I mean, no one's actually going to live in them because
They're just scams,
they're,
basically.
they're basically just scams.
I like this area. It's pretty.
They're built for investment, not for actually having people live in.
Yeah. Part of the reason we have a homelessness problem because nobody's actually building homes
For people to actually live in them.
Yeah.
Instead ahead.
Oh, there's no way to make
Discourses
money.
Would you want to keep the fast food
They're out
chain?
there.
Ah, fuck no.
I could drop them.
Let's keep
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah, fuck fast food. Get rid of all of them.
They're all gonna be run by robots pretty soon.
Very soon. Yeah.
You can, well, you just see what happened in California where they kind of accelerated the process, and now they're all talking about laying off as many workers as possible and automating everything.
Getting nostalgic about the truce?
It's cheaper to
Those
have
are your days,
robots
huh?
than it is to pay people.
Well, to be fair to these fast food restaurants in California, they're already raising their prices
That
for
was
the
in
minimum
retaliation
wage,
to
and
us
people in
shooting those
California are
kids.
just not going and eating fast food anymore. Like
Because
it
it's
was
too
an
expensive
instant, it was an
yeah.
instant change. As soon as the prices went up, like sales tanked because
It's just too expensive.
nobody wants to spend
Money, they're
$20 on a
kids.
Big
It's not
Mac.
their
meal.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
It's not. Yeah,
Not our fault
it's
either.
absolutely not
Those
worth it.
deaths are on them.
So either they become entirely run by robots and they can charge a reasonable price for it and still have customers, or they don't do that and then they
And the
just
business just
cease
cease
to
to
exist.
Taking
exist.
those
Yeah.
sightlines.
That's that's the problem with the minimum wage. It's like, yeah, you want people to get paid more, but people are only willing to pay so much for a product.
Well, like you could raise the minimum wage, and it would be more effective if there was some way to
Somebody's blocking the
ensure
door.
that the CEOs
Maybe there's
would
another
somehow drop their like overinflated personal take
Well,
on profits instead.
That
That's a big part of the problem.
Well, that's kind of part of the problem. But at like
Here.
McDonald's, a CEO probably makes 50 mil a
Manny,
year,
see what's
right?
up there.
But you try to spread that out across the employees, and that's like nothing.
I mean, I guess I don't know what the number is for.
No,
for
I know.
You also got to
It's
look
just-
at the board too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the board shareholders,
Zombie
like
apocalypse
what
would
they're
be better to
pushing.
hide out in a mall.
Well, I
or
mean,
prison.
You have to.
It's a great
I
question.
feel like I feel like the Walking Dead comics, not the show, because fuck the show, but the Walking Dead comics, I think, it made a pretty good case for a prison actually being a really good.
Yeah, because it's like a fortress.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the only reason that ends up not
Try to get
working
that
is
door
because
open.
other
Find you two
human
another way
beings
in.
attack it
With a tank.
with
Be
a tank
careful.
that runs over the whole thing. But if you only ever dealt with zombies and you never had to deal with like other people coming in and trying to tear
As
your
long
shit
as the
apart,
prison is empty, it's a good
Through one
place
of
to
the
be.
buildings?
yeah, I think prison would be better.
Yeah, I think so.
Assuming, of course, you know
Another
how to
idea,
farm.
Manny?
I mean, yeah, you do have to know that shit for sure.
But the thing is, of course, with the minimum wage stuff, is like prices are going to go up anyway. Like, and if you're
Yeah.
not paying people, then like, how the fuck are they going to afford to live?
Well,
Well, I mean,
no,
part of
I'm not saying. Well,
Well,
wages
the-
have to go up.
Well, the issue
But
is that
there
we
are
uncoupled
business-
the wages, right? Back in the Reagan uncoupled that shit, right?
Well, yeah. Well, they started
Because-
uncoupling hard in the 70s.
Here in the 70s, sorry, yeah, in the 70s
'Cause
when they started uncoupling,
right,
it, that's when the
we
real
went
problem
right
started.
from the stagflation of the 70s into the globalization of the 80s.
Yeah,
So the economy was fucked and wages didn't go up. And then companies didn't want to raise prices, so they moved overseas.
yeah,
I mean, the problem is that
Well,
there is a price that
still no
people
sign
are
of
willing
Scott.
to pay for a good.
Long
Right.
way now.
There is,
Yeah, it is.
and then one of the problems is that, like California raising the minimum wage for fast food workers, if you want to raise the minimum wage for hospitality workers or grocery store workers, those
There
are
we go.
businesses with tiny margins. Like they run. It
Well, it
should
should
be
be.
$10 for a Big Mac meal, dude. Anything more than that
Okay,
is
Mel.
even
absurd.
$10
We're in.
seems
That's
like
a lot.
a lot to me. But
That's what you're. There's no way you're going to pay less than that in this day and age. Dude.
I miss the day when you could buy like fast food for a couple bucks.
I remember when the candy bar was a quarter.
But like, if you're
We wore
talking,
onions on our belt, which was the style at the time.
but if you're talking about a business like fast food,
Pay
the
more.
restaurant business in
If
general,
they bring back the Happy Meal toys.
Yeah, I'd get $10 for one of those Bear and Harkonnen kids toys. That's a steal.
Yeah, that's worth it. That'd be worth it.
yeah. But like, a fast food restaurant
come on.
lives on
Quick.
volume.
Go on, girl.
They have like a 3% profit margin.
Sure.
And labor costs are at least in restaurants are 30%
Yeah, sure.
of your entire budget.
Right.
So if you say minimum wage has to go up by 25%, there's nowhere for that money to come.
Right. I mean, they have to
Like-
raise prices to then be able to.
Yeah, and I
Sure.
mean I'm not. I mean like it's a shitty system, and there's definitely corporate greed.
Let's remember this.
But at the end of
And
the
it's still going to fall
But at
apart
the end of
because
the day-
if workers' wages aren't going up, who's buying those $10 Big Macs?
well, that's the economy's bifurcated. The only people that keep the consumer spending alive are people making over $100,000 a year, and everybody else is basically a serf class in service of those people. That's the U.S. economy.
Yeah.
And those
I don't
people
know how
making
to-
$100K a year aren't going to McDonald's.
Oh yeah, they are.
I don't know. They're not going to. I don't think they're going to McDonald's often enough to sustain it.
No, No, I mean we don't have a big enough middle class right now. Because the middle class, like if you accept the traditional definition of middle class, you have to make $100,000 a year in this country to
You do.
be middle class. People still act like the middle class is like 60, 70,000 a year, but like you're upper lower class at that point in this country.
20 years ago, 70K would have made you middle class.
Yeah, easily.
Easy.
But inflation went up 25%.
How often do people eat fast food?
I mean, for some
Depends
people,
on food.
it's...
Some people eat it constantly.
Yeah,
Poor people are actually more likely to eat fast food frequently than wealthier people because it's marketed to them as this cheap food that's you don't have to spend time preparing, and especially if you're the kind of person who works like 2 jobs.
Hello, Phenomeno. Welcome in.
Hey, what's up?
If you're the kind of person who works like 2 jobs, right? Like
Mhm.
you don't have a lot of time to cook, so you're gonna want to just pick up some shit, go home, and
Yep.
eat it, in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a trap, right? It's intentionally kind of designed that way.
Right.
It's a vicious cycle.
And if those people are going to be priced out of the fast food market, well,
Yeah,
fast
I
food
mean-
doesn't have much of a market.
McDonald's is legitimately concerned about that. Like they're
That's why they're trying to replace all their workers with robots.
They got to bring the prices down.
Right.
That's. I mean, it's a situation where there can be no winners. I mean, you can try to make it so shareholders don't get paid anything, but then they'll just divest. Like,
Right.
They're not. Nobody's gonna put their money in a stock where you never get paid.
Right.
Right.
So I mean, it's capitalism. Like it doesn't. It's definitely not perfect, but there's no alternative right now. You could move to a co-op model, which I think is the best bet. 'Cause
Co-op?
that's how- yeah. Well, if you give your employees stock in the company, and then they're
Right.
getting paid their wages on top of the stock, and then
Sure,
it works
sure.
better than unions because unions are in an adversarial position with the company. What's good
Right.
for the
I'll hold
union's
it
bad
here.
for the company.
Go.
If everybody's a stockholder in the company, then the
Sorry.
considerations are like workers want to have good work
Yeah.
conditions, but they also
Frank
want to make
broke.
money on their stock.
Right.
Abby, look.
Was the crew an alien getting paid McDonald's money?
Hang tight.
those.
We're gonna find a way up
I bet they were. I bet the alien crew is working paycheck to paycheck on
Yeah,
that.
how expensive is space McDonald's?
Glad you hit
Yeah. What's space inflation like?
I don't know. There's a pretty
I am
small
glad I'm
group in
here
this
with you guys.
country
I hate to
not
hear you
with a
got in trouble
paycheck
and I
to
couldn't
paycheck.
help.
That's a minority in this country right now.
Hey, why are you
Yeah.
avoiding
Yeah.
me?
Sadly, it is.
60% are like
Come on, you
500.
barely
I think it's
said anything
80%.
about
I don't, it's
I
high.
don't know.
It's very
I'm pretty
high.
sure it's 80%.
Alarmingly high.
Or more even
Yeah.
than that.
You
To
don't
be
think Joel
honest.
deserved what he
I
got?
think it
I think
is
he deserved
60% for a
worse. I just-
$500 expense, but it's
I
like a
just wish I didn't take part in
$1,500
it.
expense for
I get it.
80% of the country.
Kind
That
of
sounds
person to
right,
do that,
yeah.
right? I'm
So,
not
yeah,
saying-
A lot of people are
There's a
literally
way
like
to
one
hatch.
doctor's visit away from being broke.
Or like
Just
the
being homeless.
transmission being blown
Hey,
out
Abby,
on your
who's
car.
Oh,
up
yeah.
there?
$1,200
Got an idea.
repair to your car. You can't
I
get
like
to work
ideas.
any other way.
Then you don't have a job, then you just die.
Yeah, I mean that's why
Okay.
a lot of people end up homeless, man. I mean
Here we
there are
Go.
A lot of homeless
there are a
people
lot
have
of people-
jobs.
yeah,
That's true.
Or multiple jobs.
Especially in California.
people
Especially in
living
California.
in their cars for
Nope.
sure. I mean there's
So what's your idea?
there's a fundamental misunderstanding of the homelessness
one
problem.
sec.
'Cause
There
there's
is.
a lot of people who will never get off the streets because they
What are
don't
you
want to
doing?
get clean,
Getting us out of
Lurking
Looking
here?
for a moment. No worries. We
Hell
appreciate
yeah.
the lurk.
giving
Go
up
slow.
on
Thank you.
life.
Thank you.
But there's a ton of people also
One
who
advantage
just
of
got
being
screwed
pregnant.
by one of those unexpected
center of gravity.
$500 expenses and
Yeah.
didn't
Take your
have
word for
family or friends who could bail them out, and they just got stuck.
Yeah. The majority
Yeah.
of people who are homeless, like they don't want to be there, and they just
Made
don't
it.
really have
What, you're not even
any
watching?
option.
Mm-hmm.
It's
What?
I'm trying to figure out where you are.
the thing is that those people aren't as visible as like the crazies who just roam the
Yeah.
streets.
Right.
But a
Well,
lot of
those
those-
make for better news headlines
Yeah.
because
But a lot
Because
of
They're
those
also the
Crazy.
people you're going to remember more, you know?
right.
and a lot of those people aren't visible because they actually access the services.
Right. They
Like,
go to
they
homeless
actually
shelters.
go stay at the
yeah.
shelters. They go like they're not the visible on the street. Most of the people living in
Where
tents
are you?
are drug addicts.
Where the hell did
who
she
don't
go?
want-
Well, part of it is also the shelters will turn away a lot of people who, like don't sort of fit in that sense.
That too.
Well, they won't let you be on drugs at the shelter.
And if you're, I mean, in some, as of course it's not all, but if some people are violent, you're also not going to be allowed to stay there.
Yeah.
The other thing, of course, is that there are people who fall into more of the
Where did this bitch go?
normal person down on the
Oh,
block
there you are.
kind of thing who end up on the streets because they can't get into a shelter for
Mhm.
whatever reason. they start out normal, but having to live on the streets with like all the nutcases and thieves and shit out there, that'll drive you crazy over time.
That's also
for
true.
sure. Yeah, 100%.
Well, I mean, also if you turn to drugs to deal with your reality, and then drugs can also drive people pretty fucking bonkers after enough time.
But but then you have to also
Let's
consider
see.
like the danger of doing some of the minimum wage stuff is you eliminate all low-paying jobs for people with no qualifications. It's like, what do those people do?
Mhm.
Like,
True.
a handful of people will make more money because they work with the robots. But then 80% of those fast food workers will have no jobs,
Right.
Yeah.
and there won't be jobs to go to.
Rich guy did a social experiment where he said he could live on the streets and make $1 million in a year, get up having health problems.
And
Yeah, I
had
saw
to stop. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Is like, it's actually easier to like keep money and make money when you have something to start with, because when you're poor, like all that shit's going to start adding up.
Right, and then the expenses just put you in a trap where you're. I mean, the worst trap to be is when you're daily. Like, it's the trap that people in third world countries are in, where like your daily income feeds you for that day.
Right.
Like, you do
that's it.
nothing else. You don't have anything left over at the end.
Coming over here. Yeah, there you go.
There's also just a general lack of financial literacy. I mean,
That's
people
definitely
people
true.
don't
People
know
get
how to
taught that.
people don't know how to prioritize things when they're in a really bad situation.
Yeah.
Is he still trying to fix that thing up?
Give yourself the best odds of getting out of it.
But he says he'll be done any day now. Any day now. Everybody's got their obsession.
Up
Yeah, me and
there.
dog toys. Yup. And me with my stupid coins.
That don't exist in the real world. Your coins that are complete bullshit.
That is fucking hilarious. I'm glad Alex caught that.
I was like, wait a minute, those came out like when I was a kid. Like,
Yep.
I remember my grandma being like, "Oh, they're making state quarters now. We got to get all of them," and like going to the bank and getting rolls of quarters and then returning all the quarters that weren't state quarters.
I
I'm
kinda
sure
remember-
the bank appreciated.
Yeah. I kind of remember as a kid, like a little kid, like I started collecting them. I was like, oh, that's cool, unique quarters. And then I realized that they're just going to keep making new ones. And I was like, oh, there's no point in collecting
Yeah,
these.
well, like
Yeah.
once
I
they
did that
finished-
too. I had a book of them, and then at some point I was like, "Oh, wait a minute."
Yeah, once they finished with the state quarters, then they did the territories, then they did national parks.
They stopped
I
being
don't know.
special.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're on now, but yeah, every year they release commemorative quarters or something. I'm sure they'll probably move on to cities at some point.
Probably.
Whoops.
State animals or something.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll get a laser loom coin.
A laser loom.
Yeah, you know about the laser loom?
I don't know what you're talking about.
So,
No.
Minnesota-
A laser loom.
I think I had those too. Damn, everybody around here apparently did that shit.
it was a really cheap way to keep kids busy.
Oh, totally, yeah.
How do I?
But the laser loom. So a while back, the Minnesota wanted to change the state flag, right? I mean, I think they did now, but they had been floating. Would have been better to collect action figures. Yeah, it would be worth money now.
Right.
Should have been collecting fucking Pokemon cards too.
Wait, what the fuck is? I don't understand what I'm doing.
Now what? We've got that rope here.
Right there. Oh, okay. Is that gonna help me?
But yeah, so they
Oh, my bad. Okay.
they
I
were
get it, I
accepting
get it.
all these like candidates for the new state flag, right? There are a whole bunch of them that were showed off, and one of them was the so-called laser loon, which is like this ridiculous-looking flag. It's like bizarrely colored, and it has the loon shooting lasers out of its eyes. Sadly, that is not our state flag, but it should have been.
Oh man, our state flag should definitely have a bird shooting lasers out of its eyes. That's awesome.
That would have been
We would have had the best state flag. Oh, and then do we use the ladder to get over there, and then? So, like, just long enough since I played this game that I don't quite remember all of these traversal things.
Nice.
There we go. Okay, cool.
Abby being obsessed with physical fitness seems pretty plot relevant around here.
Yeah. Well, I just like. Yeah. I mean, she's buff in a way that's realistic.
Yeah, she's not like she doesn't look like
She doesn't look like she's taking steroids.
No.
She looks muscular.
She
in
looks like a person who
realistic
works
way.
out a lot.
Yeah, totally realistic. She's a soldier. I mean, yeah.
Again, there are actual female athletes who look like her.
Yeah, is pretty realistic, I think.
Plus, I mean, like Joel
There
is
they
a
are.
big beefy guy.
Manny.
Like,
Yeah,
if we're
You're
gonna
right
have
down.
basically his
Okay.
female equivalent,
Look.
true.
I would assume that pretty much anyone in the
there?
post-apocalypse is probably
Bet we
going to
can cut
be
through that
pretty
rail
strong.
yard.
Especially if you're part of a
If you're
militarized.
gonna
Please.
survive, yeah.
To be
What?
honest, her body type is probably more
Kinda hard to
realistic
imagine
than
you being
Joel's
afraid
was.
of
'Cause, I mean,
anything.
he had a bit more
Not
like
as
the vanity
fearless as
muscles
you
thing
think.
going on.
True. True.
Like, I could never do the surgery stuff you do. Be too freaked out about fucking it up. You think I don't feel the same way? Well, for what it's worth, my dad always said you were his best student.
He did? Well, he always said he was an idiot.
You have to be dedicated to work out during the end of the world. I mean,
At the
Yeah.
same time, though, what else is there to do? Wouldn't you rather spend time working out than?
and also a lot of the things that you're going to be doing in your day-to-day life are
Been quiet out
themselves,
here?
workouts.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if you're out farming all day,
That's all. That's
We're almost
basically
to
working
the
out. I mean, I'm in the best shape of my life because my job is so physical. We were just talking about that on the last stream. You were saying the same thing.
Hell yeah.
Until I pass
I
out.
am definitely in the best shape of my life.
Like I can
Oh,
lift
yeah?
the most
Drink?
that I've ever
What's
been
your
able to lift because my job just I have to
Movie's the
exercise
one
so
with-
much.
Dude,
¿Cómo se llama?
like I breezed
The girl who rides the wolf.
up the Grand
Oh, I
Canyon.
love
Yeah.
that one.
No
Drink.
problem.
No condom or
I
anything.
mezcal from the
Yeah,
party last
just
night.
raw dog,
Excuse
dude.
me, our mezcal?
Should have been the name of the stream.
I'll save some for you.
Raw talking the Grand Canyon.
Drink right now. If I wasn't so pregnant.
Yeah, I don't know if I could satisfy the canyon, man.
It's a big canyon.
yeah.
Feeling a little inadequate.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of dudes could be running a train on the Grand Canyon and it still wouldn't be enough.
I went down with the train.
Oh, yeah, we'll wrap up in, I don't know, what do you guys think, 10 minutes?
Sure.
Guys, down this way.
And, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Follow the
I
tracks.
don't wonder how
Back
many
on the
more
main road to Fob.
episodes it'll take us to play through The Last of Us 2. Probably not too much
Probably
longer.
less
Keep
than
your eyes
fucking
open.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
That wall.
Oh, shit.
Not that I can see.
We got some...
Shh. Quiet. Here comes more of them.
There's cultists again. Got that pipe.
Yeah, you can bash with that.
Oh, hell yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So you kind of put spikes on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And then it also lasts longer, too. It's more durable. You can get more shots out of it when you do that.
yeah. So it's importantly, last.
I don't think spikes would help with that.
For some people.
Like a Cenobite, maybe. Who are you talking to with, like, what knife dick are you dealing with?
It wouldn't shock me if there's like some Japanese like BDSM like coffee shop that has that shit like
Called
that.
Knife Dick.
Knife dick.
Knife Dick is the name of the store.
Yeah, what's knife dick in Japanese?
I don't know. It's a great question.
I don't know.
That does sound like
I did see some maid cafes in Japan.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Maid
Maybe
Cafe.
Go into any of
they're all
them.
dressed like
Yeah,
sexy maids.
girl
I guess.
dresses
That's the whole thing.
like a maid. I don't think they even really dress like sexy maids. I think they dress like
Would you
maids.
get out of the way, you stupid bitch?
What?
But yeah, that's a thing.
Okay. I know that they have BDSM cafes.
Do they?
Yeah,
That
they
I
do.
did not see that.
Yeah, you can like have like people like tie you up and like whip you or whatever.
Well, you drink your coffee.
Yeah. There's like there's
Just
so,
on a Zoom call with work.
they're so specialized. There's even lesbian only ones.
Okay. Wouldn't have guessed.
Yeah,
They got something for everybody over there, though.
that's good.
No! It's an ambush!
I feel like that's really possible when you have a city the size of Tokyo. Is like you can fill niches that even a New York City couldn't fill.
Well, I mean, these days, if you want that kind of crap to go on in New York, you probably just get on the subway.
I bet they're doing that on Sunday.
BDSM, yeah.
Tying people up, having coffee.
Tokyo subways are where you ride to get puked on.
Yeah, that's Tokyo Subway. Wait, did you say Tokyo Subway?
Yeah,
New
like
York
trains
subway.
in Tokyo.
Oh, okay.
You want to get puked on.
Oh, right, because the puke tidal waves.
You know about that, right? Puke tsunami.
No.
So in Japan, everybody's well, Asian countries in general, right? Because everybody on the trains is so tightly packed, because dense populations and all that. If one person gets sick and throws up, chances are that's going to result in like a wave of barf.
Oh god.
Because everybody next to them is going to throw up. 'Cause they're going to be grossed
Because they're
out.
all getting puked on,
Yeah.
so you're gonna
Oh,
just
God.
immediately puke.
So that's just going to be like a solid, like fucking green, like wave, just like flowing down the car from one end to the other. Probably coming right for you.
You have to try and outrun it like the world after tomorrow. Oh wait, where is this fucker?
Oh shit, we have a flight.
We do have a flamethrower.
Is it good in this game? Yeah, it seems like it.
Pretty effective.
I do love me a good flamethrower.
And they suck in so many video games, so it's nice whenever they actually work.
I feel like that's a trend that is getting better.
Yeah, that's not as true as it used to be.
Like, I definitely think there's more good ones now. Shit.
Oh shit.
And you got double set.
There we go.
I really like Abby's personal.
Yeah, she's got a pretty sick weapon selection.
That it?
I don't see any more.
On me. Let's go.
Yeah, it's funny how just the sheer anger this character induced in the internet, and I actually ended up really liking her. the story was great. Like, I mean, like I said, I have criticisms of this game. I don't think it's perfect. I think the pacing's a little wonky. Like
We've
said,
discussed before that the whole just split the game in half between the two characters thing doesn't really work out super well.
yeah, like it would have been better if you did one chapter and then you did like Ellie one chapter, Abby one chapter, and then switch back and
Guys,
forth.
up
I
here.
think that'd be a lot better. But again, I mean, like that's I'd still, I don't know, it's still like an 8 out of 10 game. Like the first one's maybe a 10 for me, but like it's not like a bad sequel just because it's not as good.
Look,
People on the internet, man, they love to just like if something doesn't hold up to like the exact same bar, it's garbage. They just are like,
Puta madre. They're close.
What's your rating for Stellar Blade?
I mean, I'd give the demo like a 7
Okay.
out of 10,
What about the character? The Eve character?
like a 5.
Out of 10?
Yeah. Well, she was just boring.
Yeah,
I mean, that's like I said, like I thought the gameplay was fun, and the game itself had like a generally fun kind of feel to it. But like the
what
character
about the
was just
character
so
now
dull.
that she's been censored?
I don't feel any differently about it because the censorship barely did anything different. It's barely different. That's what's so wild to me and watch people flip out about this fucking game is it's like it's not even that different.
Get inside!
Oh shit.
Because he's surrounded.
Yeah.
I'm running out of ammo!
Yeah, let's get inside the building with no cover. Great plan.
That's also a gas station that could very easily explode.
With glass windows instead of
Look at me, you psychos!
God damn it. You fucking... There you go.
Now, guys! What? No!
Hey, back up.
Oh, there we go! Set him up, guys!
Oh, yeah.
Oh, are we working furry?
That is Abby's group, yeah.
Fire!
Abby's coming from the furry group.
I did just lose some respect
Go
for
before
Abby.
more of those. Ready? Glad you guys are around.
Oh,
Lucky we
cool.
drove by.
All right. Skinny.
You okay?
I'll survive this.
Is this what you were looking for?
Hey, let me see your hand.
But you wanted to come visit. I thought you wanted to be picked up.
We're in.
All right, we ended on a chapter and everything, so we'll
Awesome.
wrap up as soon as the cutscene ends. Good timing.
Hey, the dog lived for now.
Well, as Ellie, we already killed that dog. So,
We're almost there.
so we know exactly where that's going to be. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the interesting thing, right? Like, the game structures its story in such a way where it's asking you to see these characters as antagonists,
As hard as you can, okay?
and then after you've killed all of them,
Then they're actually shown as people.
yeah, and it's
I didn't even feel it.
I mean, it's a bold strategy, but I think so many people, again, they get so attached to whatever protagonist is presented to them at the beginning of a story that if you try to switch that up on them, it obviously they're like some people are going to appreciate it, right? Like I do, but there's going to be some number of people that just they cannot sympathize with like a separate person or a separate group of characters within the same story if you did not start with that group of characters. There's like people that hated, like fucking people on the internet hated Gabby in Attack on Titan.
Oh yeah, that's
Like
the bullshit.
relentlessly just hated that character more than literally
Which
any
is
other character.
doubly stupid because literally the point of that character is to show like the how the dangers of like mindless brainwashed hatred.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
It's like
people.
the character is brainwashed and hates people for no good reason, and then people hated her for no good reason, without being able to like pick up on the nuance. I don't know.
Come on, girl. This is Alice.
But I mean, a lot of people
Intellectually lazy.
There's a certain kind of person who just didn't like the way Attack on Titan ended for that kind of reason.
Because it didn't satisfy their power fantasy.
Thanks again, guys.
Okay, well, there we go. We managed to beat a whole chapter. All right, well, that is going to be where we wrap up the stream for today. Let's see if there's anybody on for a raid here. Well, I'll take suggestions, but if nobody has anybody, we'll just wrap up. Give it 30 seconds, and if I don't see one in the chat, we'll end. But thanks, everybody, for hanging out. It's been a decent number of people in here today. Sorry, you're fine.
Yeah.
You're fine. Yeah, you came in, you showed up, you hung out for a little bit. No worries. Don't worry at all. Well, we're back every week, so
There's always more opportunities for bullshitting.
I'm still working.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
fair enough.
Well, I
I mean,
hope
it's the time of day that we do shit in.
Right. I mean, especially if you're in the States, like we stream in the middle of the day. I feel like we get the majority of the people that we see coming in are often from overseas, just because it's the evening over there.
Right.
Yeah. But no worries. Seriously, no worries. Well, if there's no suggestions, we'll just wrap up. But let's see. Next one should be me and Horton will be doing Helldivers on Thursday again. I think that should be our next stream. And then Tim and No Name should be doing that Bear Sex 3 on Friday and Elden Ring Saturday. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
See everybody later. Thanks for hanging out.